And tonight we have Senator Jerry Moran with us live in the studio. So first, thank you for being here. And Senator Moran, you also voiced that lawmakers should get back to session to work this all out. What would that look like if it does happen, and really what's holding that return?
Well, this whole circumstance in Afghanistan over the last several weeks has been a tragedy, and today that tragedy was added to the loss of life of American Marines and soldiers. And we start with our condolences and sympathies to their families and care and concern for them as a nation. But we've needed to have Congress back in session. This is the typical August recess in which members of Congress generally are home among their constituents. And I asked Senator Schumer, the majority leader, earlier this week to bring us back. And I think it becomes even more important now that we see how disastrous the lack of preparation, the planning, the execution of our departure from Afghanistan. The debate about whether to depart can certainly have been had, could still be discussed. But what we're facing now is the ineptness and the lack of preparedness and just the circumstances that we find ourselves in which we didn't keep Bagram. We're allowing our military equipment to be taken over by the Taliban. Apparently, we have a trust in the Taliban that is totally unfounded when we learned today that names of those we're trying to get out of Afghanistan were provided to the Taliban. I would say that we have a duty to those who served our nation, served nobly in Afghanistan. We have a duty to them to do what we're doing now correctly. We need to protect the lives of American soldiers who are helping evacuate others, and we need to make sure that all Americans and those Afghans who are our allies are capable of getting out. If we need to send additional military troops to do so, if we need to regain our own airport, the military airport Bagram, then we need to do that. And we are damaging not only a loss of life and our confidence in ourselves, we are damaging our reputation around the world for the failure of this administration to do things in a way that would have been safer, smarter, and better.
And Senator Moran, it is heartbreaking, of course, to see the images and videos of everything that's gone on. We know that at least 12 U.S. service members died today from an attack. And just minutes ago, we're also learning there might have been another attack confirmed at the Kabul airport. So what are you most concerned about moving forward?
Well, I'm certainly concerned about what's transpiring in Afghanistan, in Kabul, and the people who deserve the protection and the ability to escape to freedom. Those who are our allies, and certainly American citizens and American servicemen and women, need to be protected and need to be evacuated. But in Republican majority days, I chair the Senate Veterans Committee. In the Democrat days, I'm the leading Republican on that Veterans Committee, and I would once again ask Kansans to seek out their neighbors and friends, the people that are in their community that served in Afghanistan. We're seeing an increase in calls to the veteran suicide hotline. I know from conversations that there are veterans in Kansas who are watching what's going on and wondering about the value of their sacrifice and service. I would indicate to them the nobleness of their call. They're answering their duty, their responsibility, and I would remind us that nothing that a soldier did, nothing that a member of our military did created the problems that we're in. They followed their orders. They did their work responsibly. This is not a problem of those who wear the American military uniform. This is a problem of those who wear a suit and go to work every day. We need them to be equal to the challenge that our military men and women have faced for 20 years following 9/11.
And then, Senator, finally, how many Afghan allies should the U.S. and Kansas take in, and then how many do you think that we will?
Well, I mean, I think that's an option at some point in time. Everything I know about those who are being removed, who are Afghani from the country, from Afghanistan, if they don't have the right visa, they're being taken to another country where their security and the validity of their ability to come to the United States is determined. But if you have that visa and are coming to the United States, you are going to a military installation, and there's one of 3 in the country. There are 3 in the country that are being utilized. You would go to one of those 3. And at this point, there's no anticipation that our military installations in Kansas would be utilized. I would not be surprised, knowing Kansas as well as I do, that we will see Kansans who reach out to try to welcome and provide help and assistance to those Afghans coming to the United States. But I think that's some time away from where we are today.
All right, Senator, thank you so much for joining us today. Obviously, a very fluid and moving situation, so we appreciate your time.